The Dukes of Hazzard, which recently celebrated its 45th anniversary, was a great TV show. And it had some pretty good TV movies, which, again, as I've said in my TV log, if you haven't seen it yet, I will get to those sometime down the road. But for now, I'm going to talk about the 2005 theatrical film of The Dukes of Hazzard. But is it really that bad? Well, in a way, it is. But it was sort of a guilty pleasure of mine. Here's my review of the film right now. Bad Days, Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Noel, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2005 action comedy flick The Dukes of Hazzard, released by Warner Bros. Along with Village Roadshow Pictures. Loosely based on the TV series of the same name, the film was released in August 2005. Directed by J. Chandrasekhar, who, of course, you know of the comedy troupe known as Broken Lizard, the act that was best known for bringing us Super Troopers and Club Dread. It still does, however, does follow a little bit of the TV series. It depicts the adventures of cousins Bo and Luke, plus their cousin Daisy and Uncle Jesse, as they outfox the crooked Hazzard County Commissioner Boss Hogg and Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. Anyway, while the film did alright and what have you, but it was disliked crazy, what have you, and there was many differences in what have you. Anywho, and there were many differences from this and what have you. And let me tell you, and it sparked tons of controversies as well. So anyway, let's just get into this story right now. Since the film did okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the whole story. So I'll give you the warning by then, okay? Cousins Bo, Luke, and Daisy Duke run a moonshine business for their Uncle Jesse in Hazzard County, Georgia. The cousins' primary mode of transportation is an orange 1969 Dodge Charger that the boys affectionately refer to as the General Lee. Along the way, the family is tormented by corrupt Hazzard County Commissioner Jefferson Davis Hogg, widely known as Boss Hogg, and his willing but dim-witted henchman Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. After Roscoe has the General Lee vandalized after Bo and Luke's attempt to run away from a daughter of one of their many moonshine customers, Billy Prickett, a famous stock car driver, enters Hazzard to participate in the rally. Meanwhile, Roscoe plants a fake moonshine still in Uncle Jesse's barn and seizes the Duke property in the interest of eminent domain for Hogg, forcing the family to temporarily reside with neighbor Pauline. She informs the Dukes that Roscoe seized another farm on charges, so Bo and Luke investigate a local construction site and find their farm and neighboring farms marked on a map. They also discover a safe which they believe contains information that Hogg wants to keep secret. Unable to get the safe open, they drag it to Sheev's place. Yes, this is a new type character. We'll get to him in a moment. With his help, they blow open the safe and discover geologic core samples, but are unsure on what the samples are. Meanwhile, Cooter turns the General Lee into a hot rod in hopes of finally receiving payment for all the work he has done for the boys in the past if they win the race. So, the Dukes go to Atlanta to visit a local university geology lab, meeting with Katie Lynn Johnson, a Hazzard County girl. They discover Boss Hogg's intentions of turning the county into a strip coal mine. However, before they can return to Hazzard County, they are arrested, as you can imagine. Hogg visits their prison cell where he informs the two that the vote on Hogg's proposition is at the same time as the rally, with Prickett providing a distraction. During a transfer From detainment, Daisy helps the boys escape from the patrol car, and they speed home to try to inform the townsfolk, escaping the Atlanta police and the Georgia State Patrol. Now for the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure, of course, as I said earlier. You got 5 seconds to stop this video immediately. Go to the description box below. Fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, which who can blame you as I count down, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Upon returning home, the Dukes discovered that Hogg and Roscoe had taken Jesse and Pauline hostage. So the two raced to the farmhouse to cause a distraction to the Wayne Hazzard County Sheriff's deputies and Georgia State troopers, while Daisy and Cooter rescue Jesse and Pauline. Meanwhile, the college girls head to the rally with Sheev to inform the townsfolk about the vote on the strip mine ordinance. However, because Sheev is a known conspiracy theorist, no one listens to them. Bo leaves for the rally while Luke and Jesse team up to foil the county and state police. Upon crossing the finish line first before Billy, the two then continue racing across downtown, leading the townsfolk to the courthouse where the proposal is rejected. So, Hogg's attempts to have the boys locked up, but Daisy takes advantage of the governor of Georgia's presence and TV cameras to convince him to pardon them. The final scene shows a cookout at the Duke's house where the Dukes and the townspeople celebrate. And of course, we hear the ever popular theme song, Good Old Boys. End of story. So, what did I think of the Dukes of Hazzard? Well, when I first watched this film, this kind of turned out to be a guilty pleasure of mine. But now, to this day, it's a semi-guilty pleasure. I don't quite like it as much more as I do with the original series now because I'm much more a die-hard fan of the classic series itself. Which this pains me because this never did have any cameos from anybody, not even the Duke boys themselves, Tom Wopan and John Schneider. Anyway, before the release of the film, this was a controversial bit. Warner Bros. Reportedly paid $17.5 million to the producer of Moonrunners, the movie that inspired the series, and it was soon followed by a claim from screenwriter Guy Waldron, the creator of the series. Not only that, James Best, who played, excuse me, wrong person, who portrayed Roscoe P. Coltrane in the original series, filed suit in late 2011, July that is, over royalties he was contracted to receive over spin-offs that used his identity. Well, Ben Jones, who played Cooter, criticized the film for its emphasis on sexual content, suggesting that the original series was more family-oriented and not sexualized. He called for fans of the television series to boycott the film unless they clean up before the release date. Some have countered that the original series also contained sexual themes, primarily the much displayed shorts, of course, the Daisy Dukes, as you like to refer, you know. In a review in the New York Daily News, well, an entertainment columnist said that the movie's sex humor is cruder than the TV series, but that it is nearly identical to the TV series. It's ogling of the posterior of cousin Daisy. Although initially he commented that he enjoyed the new style of relationship between the movie versions of Bo and Luke, John Schneider, who of course played Bo in the series, was later asked if he saw the film and said, "My gosh, it was terrible. It wasn't Dukes. It was true to whatever it was. I just don't know what that was." Well, Schneider has said that when he arrived at the premiere, Johnny Knoxville, who played Luke, came up to him and apologized for how bad the film was. Schneider has also questioned why TV channels show the film but are not prepared to rerun the original series. Yep. Yeah, they are much more than this and what have you. Other differences from the actual source material, Hogg and Sheriff Coltrane are portrayed as far more serious and sinister than their TV counterparts. And when the series portrayed the origins of the General Lee, the car immediately showcased its iconic design. In the Omni film, it's rather different, with crudely styled old wall on the doors and missing the flag long before the Charleston shooting caused controversy and the name above the windows. Anyway, now in most of the series, the Hazard County Police Department is limited to Sheriff Coltrane and one deputy. While Enos or Cleus in the film, yes, they're both in there, the police department seems to be rather extensive for a small town. Also, if you know, Luke was a former sergeant of the Marine Corps, which that's something I failed to mention about some of the characters in my TV log. But this isn't mentioned. Contrarily, in the film, Jesse's introduced as a Korean War veteran, though the series did not portray him as a veteran. And the series, Bo and Luke, of course, were put on probation, and Jesse had quit moonshining to keep them out of prison. A frequent obstacle as a result of their probation was their inability to leave Hazard without the consent of Hogg. But in the film, the Dukes are still actively producing the stream shine, so the Duke boys freely travel to Atlanta. Okay, enough said. Well, my thoughts on this, I'm gonna say it's alright in one of you. Sure, it's kind of goofy in one of you. It has a few hits or misses with its jokes and what have you. So and it may not come close to as good as the series, but some of it is adrenaline pumping, especially once it gets to the last bit when they get to the courthouse. Now, the film currently sits at a mere 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying it's a dumb, goofy, and vacuous adaptation of a TV show where plot is simply an excuse to string together the car chases. Now, CinemaScore, however, gave it a B+, but longtime fans of the series were disappointed with this film. Roger Ebert was not impressed, calling it a lame-brained, outdated wheeze, and wondered if Burt Reynolds' part in the film as Hogg was karma-wise. The second half of What Smokey and the Bandit was the first half of. And Ebert named it the second worst film of the year, while Richard Roeper named it the worst film of 2005. And Ebert also included the film on his most hated list. Entertainment Weekly, however, gave it a B+ as well. As Owen Gleiberman said, it's trash alright, but perfectly skewed trash. A company that knows just how smart to be about just how dumb it is. Well, that's understandable. It was nominated for 7 Razzies, but unfortunately, it did not win any. For Worst Picture, it lost to the film Dirty Love. It lost numerous ones for that film. It lost to Worst Director to the director of Dirty Love. Same thing with the Worst Screenplay went to Jane McCarthy. Now, Worst Supporting Actor Burt Reynolds was up for it, but it lost to Hayden Christensen for Revenge of the Sith. Can't imagine why. Jessica Simpson was nominated for Worst Supporting Actress. She played Daisy, but lost to Paris Hilton for House of Wax, which Warner and Village Roadshow also released the same year. And worst on-screen couple, Jessica Simpson or Daisy Dukes, weird combination, but lost to Nicole Kidman and Will Ferrell for their appearance in Bewitched, another TV-based film, but not quite loosely based on. And worst remake or sequel, but it lost to Son of the Mask. The People's Choice Awards, Miss Simpson won Favorite Song for Movie for a cover of Nancy Sinatra's These Boots Are Made for Walking. Unfortunately, that was a problem I had with this. Her version of this, I didn't think it was good at all. This was probably the second worst remake I had heard in the last few years. The cover of Lady Marmalade from Moulin Rouge ended up being the first worst cover song I had heard. This comes right behind, so please don't shoot me or hate me for it, but that's my opinion. It also got nominated at the MTV Movie Awards long before it became the Movie and TV Award, or was it TV Movie Awards? Who am I kidding? I don't watch them anymore because I don't like to I understand why the hell they put TV in there, for crying out loud, even though we do streaming and what have you. But Simpson did win the Choice Breakout Female Award for a role in the film at the Teen Choice Awards. Now then, I do like, but now I do think the soundtrack from Nathan Barr isn't too bad. It's good and what have you. It does have a soundtrack that was released through, well, Miss Simpson's label, which was Columbia. Well, ran out unfortunately before she left for their sister company Epic. Yeah. There's also others and what have you. So, apparently, it was just. It did have a few good Southern rock classics, including Black Bay and, let's see, If You Want Blood, You Got and Shoot the Thrill by AC/DC. Well, and there was another Southern rock classic, Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet was in it. And Willie Nelson kind of paid tribute to his old, I think in my opinion, paid tribute to his old friend, the late great Waylon Jennings, the original balladeer, who had been dead for these last few years by performing Good Old Boys, which was fine, what have you. Well, the film got a PG-13 rating by the MPAA, which that's MPA now. After this, there will be an unrated cut, which I saw that first before I watched the theatrical version. I've only seen the theatrical version one time. Now, there was tons more. There was a little more nudity, violent driving scenes, and a ton more language than anyone can imagine. Even after, despite the dissing and what have you, the film did okay in what have you, going on to make 109 million worldwide. It was much more successful here in the U.S. than it was overseas. A couple of years later, Warner Premiere released a prequel called The Dukes of Hazzard: The Beginning. But anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, and for our cast, we have Johnny Knoxville. You know him best as Jackass fame as Luke. He's fine. Seann William Scott. You may know him from the American Pie series. In other films, he played Bo. He was fine. Jessica Simpson playing Daisy. Well, I'm gonna say she's no Catherine Bach though, but she manages to do all right. Burt Reynolds as Boss Hog. Nah, sorry. They did much better with because he's too. I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to get controversial and what have you. Willie Nelson's probably the only one I think he did a reasonable job as Uncle Jesse. I mean, while he may not be no Denver Powell though, but nevertheless he did fine. MC Gainey, who had recently, I think after he recently appeared in Are We There Yet? I believe. Yeah, I think that came out the same year, if I'm not mistaken. He was also in the Mighty Ducks and so played Roscoe. He's all right. Michael Weston played Enos. He was all right. Lynda Carter, you may know, TV's Wonder Woman, played Pauline. She was pretty good. James Roy Rodriguez played Billy Prickett, a pretty mean dude. And Kevin Haverman, who also would work on some of Chenray Scar's films, played Sheev, who runs a bait and tackle shop. Kind of a goofball at times, though. We also have Junior Brown. You may know who that is. Who did let's see Them Wearing Them, probably in Highway Patrol. He was about there. Joe Don Baker played the governor of Georgia, who was very good and what have you. But anyway, yeah. There were also various, well, all five members of Broken Lizard do appear in the film, have cameos and what have you, including Chen Rasker himself. I really would give you some of my favorite lines, but I'm not going to. I'm taking too long on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, would I recommend the Dukes of Hazzard? Well, I'd say maybe just avoid this and what have you. But if you're curious about this just for fun, then a one-time watch. But my verdict, I'd say just avoid it and what have you. If you want fair stuff, watch the theatrical cut. But if you wanted to be more crazier, then watch the unrated cut. That's the only thing I'm saying for one-time watch. But my verdict is just so my verdict's a draw between give it a one-time watch or avoid it. I'm leaning more towards avoid it. Okay, that's that. How about covers it? So, what did you think of the Dukes of Hazzard 2005 theatrical film? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of the prequel I was just talking about, the Dukes of Hazzard: The Beginning. So, if you like this, consider checking out my reviews of the first and previous films of the Fast and the Furious franchise, which is much more cooler. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the first film, The Fast and the Furious from 2001. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of the recent hit film from last year, Fast X. Or if you would like to see the real Duke boys, see the TV log of the Dukes of Hazzard TV series, which that needs more views than one of you. I'm not too thrilled with how many views it got yesterday. I hoped it would do well, but I've underestimated this. Okay, sorry. I'm not trying to encourage y'all, but I want y'all to understand. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.